frosted sea of February, a chilling, bone-piercing wind. The occasional rustle of the pine groves in the wind, the peaceful timbre of the sea roar. Hey, this is about all we got. I handed her a towel that said Shiraishi construction on it, the one we used way earlier to sponge ourselves off. Oh, come on, don't make such a face. She accepted the towel with slight disappointment. Out of the blue, she said that she wanted a swimsuit, but it presented another problem in and of itself. Because she wanted it here and now, and a bikini on top of that. Having no other course of action, I rummaged through the car, but I found nothing other than that white towel. And after I'd waited a little while, she came into view, wearing her favorite skirt, with that towel wrapped around her breasts. Well, even if you ask me that. Well, probably you do. No, I may look completely fine, you don't look weird at all. And then she slowly started walking about the beach. The breaking and ebbing of waves, her long hair wafting in the cold sea breeze. As if the sky wanted to spite us, it was beginning to snow little by little. And amidst all of that, she was holding her shoes in her hand. And walking as the water's edge, exultantly, as if she was flying with every step. Yeah, I guess. Both of our breasts frosted white in the midwinter cold. And I brought out the disposable camera that had been in the car. That old camera from before. One more picture left. Alright, I'm gonna take your picture. See? It'll be even more right this way. Saying this, I pointed the camera toward her. Come on, don't get all shy on me now, okay? The beach. The girl now in the viewfinder of the camera. Whether it was because she was tense or bashful, she had a facial expression that was far more complex and unusual. Oh, come on. Won't you strike some kind of pose? No ifs, ands, and buts now. Come on, the no bikini model stands stock. Still like that. Looking a little awkward, but still trying with all her heart. She bashfully lowered one hand to her hip and stretched out the other hand high overhead. That arm stretched forth toward the clear winter sky, as if it was grasping for something. As if it were reaching out for something. It was being held straight up into the heavens, with the emerald sea as its backdrop. Okay then, one last thing. Smile. Smile for me. Satsumi. In saying this, she smiled for me for the first time. That girl, clad in her favorite skirt and that white towel, smiled for the final shot that camera had, smiled with the emerald sea as her backdrop. Smiled as if she was an honest-to-God bikini model. Alright then, next, shall we try something more of an action pose? Happily, exuberantly, she splashed around in the water. And even though the camera was now utterly exhausted, I kept photographing her figure. Hey, it looks like you've really gotten into the spirit of things. Our cheerful dialogue, the snow falling harder and harder as if in spite. And in the mist, the girl, smiling brilliantly in the viewfinder of the spent camera. Continuing to remember to smile for me even as her little body was battered at by the winds.
じゃ。
Yeah, so I guess it's time. And with that word, she began walking toward the sea, just like last time.
あ、そういえば、免許証。
No, you keep that in commemoration.
わかった。
With a nod, she put it in her pocket. That was the license that I'd given her, the one that I should have never had the chance to use. And then she unfastened that white final ID bracelet that had been wrapped around her wrist. It presented it to me. Are you giving this to me?
あげる。
I see. In that case, I'll keep it in commemoration. I stuffed that bracelet, whose twin hung on my wrist, into my pocket. And then, to the girl who was walking once more towards the sea, toward her retreating figure, I said my last words. Hey, can I ask you one last question? Do you want to be stopped right now? Or do you want to be pushed towards the sea? She stopped for a moment, the waves lapping at her feet. Her back remained to the last turned towards me. The strong wind brought in a rolling wave, which crashed against her with chilly fury. And when she at last turned towards me,
さあ、どっちだろうね。よくわからないね。
as she said this, she smiled for me one last time. Even as the cold waves battered at her, even with tears streaming down her face, she still smiled for me. The last time around, she stopped at this. But this time, there was no turning back. That's why I think she answered that way.
それじゃあ、さよなら。
In this manner did our voyage of the 960-odd kilometers come its conclusion. My voyage of 15 days and her voyage of 22 years finally at an end. She, who succeeded in perishing not on the 7th floor or at home. She, who was one of the 35,000 odd people to suicide in 2005. Blood type O, name Satsumi, age 22, sex female, color of ID bracelet, white. That was all that was recorded of her. But I knew better. The truth was, she loved bikinis, was better at navigation than any computer, loved cars, even had a driver's license. She was unusually expressionless, and would not meet your face. But every so often, she would grace you with a bashful, sour-seeming expression. And with the emerald sea at her backdrop, she smiles for me as if she were flying, as if she were delighted, as if she were in an honest-to-God bikini bottle. Yet somehow, there was only a single record of her smile captured in this cheap, throwaway camera. Even so, even if it was just one picture, it was proof that we lived. Alrighty guys, well, that was the end of the Narcissu the First. Now, there's actually a second game, or second story, which I'm going to do for you guys. Very somber end to that story, but I think it's what she wanted and it made her happy. Because she didn't want to die on the 7th floor and she didn't want to die at home. So she went in her own terms, I suppose, and, you know, she seemed happy when she did it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and can't wait to see what the second story has to play out for us. But that is all the time I have for today, and I thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you guys in the next story. Thanks for watching, guys.